Hello everyone, it's Dodgy Kit here again. Yeah, I'm going to chat to you about my van. My van's basically been poorly since I got it, yeah? We converted it into a camper some years ago, and it's always had this light that keeps coming on the dash, right? And we've had a problem with a battery drain on it, so we've had that fixed. And because we had the battery drain, we didn't know if that was faffing about with the engine management light, right? Not giving it enough fucking beans when it needed, sort of thing, right? And it is fucking funny how things come about. We've got down to a very expensive bill being presented by the main dealer, who've investigated it more than once. And in fact, after a point where they would have given it me back, they actually kept it and ran it, and then the light came back on again. And now they're confused. They're confused to the point they said, oh, well, it's down to two things. You either need a turbo, because the actuator control module is the wrong one, yeah? And you need an AdBlue tank. Yeah, or is a heater, yeah, but the heater's in the tank, so it comes as a whole sealed unit, right? So you start going into investigating it. If I replace one, will it save me replacing the other? Why is there two faults? How does the system work? Yeah, back to systematic investigation, diagnosis and analysis, right? So you just fuck looking at drawings, just think about how the systems work. You can have a quick glance at the drawings, see what's what, right? But just think about what is happening in the engine, right? Your engine's going round, so it's ticking over, right? So there's exhaust going out the exhaust pipe, and there's air coming in the front of the engine, spinning your turbo round just gently, yeah? It's keeping the lube going, yeah? Oil circulation around them bearings, right? And it's doing that because there's a rod on the top of it, yeah? That's sat in the zero position. The rod length has been adjusted correctly, and the control module that's controlling it is the right one, and it has limits. Yeah? This rod length is critical, right? So if you're an engineer fucking with turbos, that rod length is critical. Right, sometimes it's set and it's marked with marked chalk, so if you break it, yeah, it's seen, it's visible. So it's an inspection eyeballer. You look at it, if it's not broken, yeah, it hasn't been cracked, it hasn't moved, yeah, but inspect it because it might have done, right? So there's your turbo working, and your turbo's spinning from the exhaust, so it's sucking some air in. It's just ticking over, and in the back there, this clever AdBlue system has been added, right? So you've got this tank of fluid. It's got a heater in there, so the fluid's being heated, yeah? Fluid's being heated. Fluid's then being sucked out of the tank, squirted into the exhaust, lower emissions. But the sensor is sensing that that liquid has been in there and it's dampened it down, and therefore your O2 level's this. That sends it back to the engine ECU, and the engine ECU controls the signal that goes to the actuator control module and tells the actuator control module how much oomph to give it, yeah? To give you what you need out the back. But as you do that, you might put your foot down, the actuator moves a bit, yeah? More exhaust, more intake, more AdBlue. Then you go, well, what's the fucking fault then? Turbos are very, very simple things. They spin on a couple of bearings and the oil goes round through pressure. Yeah, it's pressurized. Pressure feed to it. Yeah? Very simple. Not a lot can go wrong. Yeah? The module and the rod length should be set. Yeah? If the rod length's been fucked with, you might have a problem. Yeah? You might have to set the rod length. That's the thing. Got a rod length adjustment there. The ECU for it is likely correct, otherwise the thing wouldn't have been given the part number it was given if it was a different ECU on it. Yeah? Yeah, different module. It'd have a different part number, wouldn't it? So it'd be the incorrect part number if you were to search it. So it wouldn't give you the wrong fucking part, would they? So you go back to your thinking, okay, well, it's this fucking AdBlue thing. What the fuck is AdBlue? Well, it's a tank with a heater with fluid in it. Oh, okay. There's a heater in there, so you got a heater core, so like a kettle, innit? Might get gummed up. What sort of fluid is it? You see, it might get gummed up, might get scaled up. Yeah? Get scale on it, don't you? You go, well, yeah, that is true, and it's just a natural thing that occurs over time and is wear and tear. Yeah? It's going to naturally occur. And you go, well, what fluid's in there then? You go, AdBlue. You go, what the fuck's AdBlue then? Now, we've discussed this before, and this is where it all comes and falls into place, isn't it? AdBlue is urea. Urea is ammonia. Yeah? 32.5% of urea in AdBlue. I heard it was 3%. But it's not, it's a third. Now that's quite substantial. That's quite substantial. Yeah? I also read it only goes down to minus 11 degrees. So, and this is the kicker, if this certain van manufacturing company have produced AdBlue systems and put them in vans that live in environments that go less than minus 11, then they're not worth using, are they? Unless they're kept in a heated environment, right? You've got to keep that vehicle in a heated place, yeah, that's warmer than minus 11. Then we go into what urea is, don't we? So this is the, okay, we'll talk about the tank. The tank could have frozen because it's been colder than minus 11 in this country over the last few years. In midwinter it has. Yeah. Especially out where the van's been parked. Yeah. It's super cold. So the tank could have cracked because this liquid, yeah, has frozen and expanded because it's got water in it and gone. And it could have done it at a number of points. It could have damaged the heater core element, yeah, as it froze. You got the metal in the water, but the water's getting bigger as it freezes, so it just crushes the heater core. Yeah, it crushes the heater core. That heater core's not going to heat it properly. It's not going to deliver the right sort of thing to the exhaust pipe at the right amount of time to give that little sensor the correct data to send back to the ECU, for the ECU to tell the actuator servo module, yeah, how far it needs to push its rod. Yeah? So, what's at fault? Remember, we got two faults. Do we need to replace the turbo? Again, it's got a different module on the top, it's got a different part number. Right? So if the part numbers are incompatible, that's fair enough, right? We got an incompatible turbo. Why did that occur if it occurred? Because the AdBlue fault was misdiagnosed in the first place, because the person thinking about the fault was going for the obvious thing rather than thinking about how the system operates, works, and the environment in which it's used. So it just so happens I have the original turbo to my van sat on my shelf, and I never really thought there was a problem with it in the first place. I know this because turbos are very simple things, and it didn't have that many miles on it. When I took it out and spun the little shaft, yeah, it's got just a nice little bit of a wiggle in there, just a little bit for heat expansion sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just spins nice, yeah. So I think that turbo that was replaced before at great expense doesn't have a fault at all, and the fault is in the AdBlue tank inside it. So although it's quite an expensive component, yeah, and this AdBlue system is supposedly, and here we'll get onto this, supposedly crap. It's been it's like the EGR delete thing, isn't it? Yeah, people like to delete their exhaust gas regeneration system. Yeah, people are going on about deleting AdBlue systems. Well, my van's actually quite a special van. Yeah, it was an ex-NHS ambulance. It was exceptionally well maintained up to this point. That it seems I got it, but it seems somebody had been thinking about it, right? The engineers knew what they were doing, right? And so it's quite a rare van, so it's worth keeping up to scratch. Yeah, even though it's a good few quid to fix, it's worth keeping up. And the other thing is, we learned something. Urea is AdBlue. AdBlue is urea. AdBlue is urea. AdBlue is ammonia. Might be, sloshed down a bit. Yeah, watered down for the masses. But it's ammonia. Now, if you go back a few videos, you'll see me talking about ammonia engines. Talk about ammonia engines because ammonia is a natural store of hydrogen and nitrogen. Yeah? Ammonia is hydrogen and nitrogen, two of one and one of another. Yeah? Atoms joined together. So we were talking about ammonia because we were talking about new engines and hydrogen being difficult to store. So now we're back at my van that's already running on ammonia. Yeah, brother. Yeah, so the other thing is, I wondered how I could fucking get 25 fucking miles a gallon whilst absolutely fucking driving it fucking on holiday, like, woohoo, my fucking van's pulling like a train, choo-choo, right? And it was, yeah, it was. Fucking absolutely goes like stink. Why is it so efficient? I couldn't figure it out. People in these groups couldn't figure it out. I said it, didn't I? It's a special van, yeah? I think only 7 were made, yeah, of this certain spec that were brought into this country for the NHS, I believe. Or I think, actually, this might be the one that's missing off the list because the other 7 are accounted for, sort of thing. This might be the missing one. But yeah, it's quite fascinating to find out now that it runs on ammonia. It's super efficient. Other people in these forums and groups couldn't figure it out. Yeah, and it's the AdBlue. It's ammonia. Yeah. Toyota have got a new ammonia engine. Might put this freaking electric freaking stuff right to bed. Yeah, start running everything on ammonia. Yeah. Other thing with ammonia, urea especially, isn't it? What do you get in some scrutty bugger's frickin' house when he's been peeing in his bog and not fucking cleaning it? Yeah? That fucking salty shit, didn't ya? Salty. Yeah? Piss salt. Yeah? It's the ammonia. But on the inside of this tank, and all the pipes and the pump and the whatever and the squirter, especially it's been sat, yeah, remember, this is urea, this is piss, this is a system of piss that's been squirted in your exhaust pipe, basically, right? But all those salts, if they're left and settle, and it heats up and cools down, heats up and cools down, yeah, all that salt is over everything in that system, isn't it? So, what's the best the best fix for this fault? Change the AdBlue tank for a brand new tank, new fluid, clean the lines out, clean the injector, AdBlue squirting, brand new, everything's clean, yeah? Then run it. See if it brings the turbo back into parameters. Yeah, because the turbo might have been getting this wrong signal. Oh, I need to put more. No, not more. No, I need more. Yes, I need more. No, I don't need more. Yes, I do need more. I'm right on my limit. Yeah? So we'll change the tank. Clean tank, no salt jamming up anything. No potential ice crushing of any heater components. Yeah? Run it again, see if the turbo's any good. If the turbo isn't any good because the module on top of there, like they're trying to tell me it is fucking incompatible with the turbo itself, or fucking flung it back. Have you played with the length of the fucking rod? If they say no, do you say, well, play with it then? And if they say yes, you say, well, was it marked before you broke it? Yeah? So they've got that actuator rod length to play with. Alright? Try and bring it back in. You're just trimming it. It's a trim rod, isn't it? Trim rod. Yeah? Should be able to trim it. Trim it, set it, lock it, mark it. Yeah? Trim it, set it, lock it, mark it. Yeah. And then we'll see where we get. If that don't freaking work, I've got the original turbo sat there, yeah, which I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. So we go, oh right, it failed again. Okay, right, there's something up with this turbo. We've played with the length, yeah. The module on the top fucking might be questionable. So we don't know. We can't be sure. If we can't be sure, the answer is no. Remove it. So you remove the turbo. Don't care. Put the original one in. Run it. I bet the fucker works. I bet it was misdiagnosed in the first place and it was a fucking AdBlue tank fault because of fucking piss salt. That's a lesson learned, isn't it? Ammonia. Used as a fuel, eh? I think some of you people should go and check out The Land of Chem with Jeffrey Drum. Yeah? Yeah. The Great Pyramids, a giant chemical apparatus for producing chemical reaction, resultant fluids and other substances, including ammonia, which is highly likely to be used as a fuel. And if not, the urea salt, dried in the desert, want the desert then most probably, right? Saying that, probably was, otherwise they wouldn't have drawn themselves like that, wearing clothes like that, would they? Yeah, because it was hot, right? So the salt dried out, use it for fertilizer, didn't ya? Fertilizer. Ammonia, it's great for fertilizer. Urea, yeah. Yeah. Incredible what we learn. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dodgy Get. We've been talking about my van, turbochargers, AdBlue, and ammonia engines. Yeah. We drive around Egypt in an ammonia Jeep. What do you reckon? Yeah, wait till you start hearing us talking about, what is it? Yeah. Yeah. We'll get on to wing design and static lift soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone.